What's up, everybody? It's Kiodiekin, KDK. Thank you guys for tuning in. And this video is going to be a little different. First and foremost, I wanted to thank all of my new Patreon and YouTube subscribers, people who follow me on TikTok and also Instagram and Facebook. Thank you guys for all your support for the entire year. And so I just wanted to take some time out and just recap 2020 as we go into 2021. So 2020 was kind of difficult. I had a lot of stuff going on. And then, of course, trying to maintain making videos and everything else that goes on. But again, I just wanted to quick recap everything that I've been involved in here on the channel. As you guys know, I have a hobby channel. I do a lot of different things. And so when I first started my channel, I was posting videos every now and then. And then, of course, I became more fluent towards the end of 2018, going into 2019. And so with that, I've picked up a number of products over the course of 2020, and I just wanted to highlight some of the products here, highlight some of the companies. First of all, I definitely want to thank Red Apple Fireworks. As you guys know, I have my own exclusive firework channel now, so I believe I have enough content to where my firework videos will really sustain itself, and that is called kiodiekinhobbies. So you guys can check that out in the description below. So I really love Doug and Mike over there at Red Apple Fireworks. There's a lot of good information coming through this year that you guys will see with that. And then also, too, this is an RC car that I put together about 6 years ago. This is the Traxxas Fiesta. It was the Gymkhana. So I've actually modified this. And I've never shown it on my channel. So I've actually referred to this as my $600 shelf queen because I don't spend any time running it. In fact, this thing is 6 years old, but it's virtually brand new, and I've only ran it for about 2 minutes across carpet. So I don't let anything happen to this baby. Has a brand new Castle Creation system in there, Mamba Max Pro, ESC, all this stuff you have on here, upgraded RPM parts and stuff. Of course, if you guys are into this, and then, of course, we have some tricked out wheels. I was supposed to add LED lights to this, but never got around to it. Well, actually, you know what? They wouldn't fit. They only work on a Tensco car. This is a Mini. So if you guys have the Traxxas Boss or the eRevo Mini, it's the same size. And so, yeah, this is all brand new. I mean, never ran it or, well, yeah, it's hooked up, but $600 shelf queen sitting right there. But anyway, so I just wanted to quickly recap about a lot of things going on with retro gaming, some of the things that I've picked up over the course of the year, and the appreciation that I have for all of you watching or just giving me a few moments to come into your home on a weekly or monthly basis. And it's really been really challenging. I've spent most of my time over 2020 doing testing. Even though I did count and I was kind of shocked that I uploaded about 250 videos, I think it was like 100 videos or so on my personal channel. And then, of course, I've helped other people with other video editing projects. So in total, I've edited over 200 and something videos, and of course, live streaming and everything too. And that doesn't even take into account other videos I've made on my Facebook page, things that I've made for Adobe After Effects, all those different projects. That doesn't even take an account to that. So quick recap about a lot of things going on from 2020. And actually, I intended this to be my first video for the year, but obviously we got sidetracked. So from left to right, we have the Nespi Case. This is a retro video gaming case that you use for your Raspberry Pi 4. We have the Raspberry Pi 8 gigabyte model here. This one presented some difficulties and challenges there in the community. We have a USB drive. This basically represents all the drives that I've picked up for the course of the year. We have the device of the year. As I've been saying this on my channel, this is the Kronos Zen. For those of you who are familiar with the Kronos Max, it's pretty much the big brother to that one. Didn't pick this one up this year, but it's another cool device. That is the Titan 2. Sinden Lightgun. So a lot of you are still waiting for your guns. I have 2 of these. So Andy sent these over. We're still working on programming. And so make sure you guys tune into the channel. We have some more important news about that. Currently with the Sinden Lightgun, you have version 1.04. I haven't had a chance to upgrade my firmware yet because I've been playing around with my RetroPie image, and then eventually I will get back on the go with that. Here we have some Samsung SSD drives. I have about 7 of these now. So these are the Samsung 1 terabyte drives. This one has one of the Venom image on here, and the other one has the Wolfenos Retromania 1 terabyte image. A lot of power. Thanks for Wolfenos for helping out the community. According to him, he's retired from the scene for right now. Maybe one day he'll come back. So hopefully you guys get a chance to check those things out. So the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with all of my subscribers, there's a lot of stuff going on in the retro gaming community. Some of it is frustrating. Reason being is a lot of us who run the groups, make videos, and we do tutorials, we make a lot of this stuff for fun. You know, we get paid, obviously, through advertisements through YouTube. There's other endorsements, but, you know, Patreon and things of that nature. But most of this, and a lot of us, we just do this for fun, especially with RetroPie. For me, when I first picked up the Pi 4 8GB model in the Pi 4 and helped the Supreme team port it over on RetroPie. And one of the biggest difficulties of RetroPie and assisting is that obviously other companies started to make products that would assist RetroPie. So the Nespi Case is one thing that definitely comes to mind. So a little while ago, I think it was a few days ago, Arcade Punks posted a link on or made a comment on their channel or their Facebook page helping people out with boot issues. And out of all the products that I love, and I love the Nespi Case, I will have to admit that the Nespi Case has probably been one of the most frustrating and things to deal with, or products to deal with, not only on my channel, but also in the retro gaming community. Reason being is you have this Nespi Case, and this is a cartridge. It can boot or load off of SSD. And of course, primarily, you can also load this off of an SD card as well. It has an SD card there as well. And the original Nespi Case, you still have the availability to use 4 USB ports. However, on this one, you only have 2. Why is this so frustrating? So you have image makers in the community. You also have devs. We put out images, you make something to work. And of course, even beyond that, a lot of people have difficulty either writing, burning, flashing, making sure they have the right device to work just so they can play some retro games. And so one of the biggest difficulties has been in this process is I don't know the individuals or the company, Retro Flag, but they have this awesome product. And it's been frustrating because when I first started burning, I think it was Supreme Pro at the time. I think it was Pro and then Ultra, because Ultra came out around, or we started working on that about, it was April, May of last year. And then, of course, the Nespi Case came out somewhere around that time, maybe June, whatever the case might be. And so, obviously, it was a hard time trying to figure out what would boot off of this device. And, you know, with us having access, usually typically firsthand to some of the newer stuff coming out, you know, we want to check it out. Like, will Supreme Pro or Supreme Ultra burn or boot off of this particular drive? And one of the biggest problems is that we discovered with the Nespi Case is that you need a specific device ID to work with the case. So first we thought it was Kingston, because I know ETA Prime and Leaps PSP, if you guys watch their channels, they booted. I know they recommended Kingston drives and so forth. So I had a spare Samsung SSD laying around, used that, and it worked. Then come to find out, other drives that I tried other drives to try to boot it off of the Pi device, and for whatever reason, sometimes it would work, sometimes it doesn't. And a lot of you are still experiencing this problem. So again, in my opinion, this has probably been one of the most frustrating devices of 2020, because it's great, but it has a lot of issues with booting. So case in point, here is my Pistolero image. And so some of the members in the Supreme team, they made a code, something called a device ID, and they entered that into the boot line of all of their images. And sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. Reason being is it's pretty much impossible to determine what device will work and what device doesn't, even if you have that specific device ID entered in the command line. So for example, this is Pistolero, and this will boot directly off of a Raspberry Pi 4, a Pi 400, the Pi 400, and also the Raspberry Pi 8GB model. However, this is made to work across a number of different devices. If I put this in the Nespi case, this won't boot. This won't boot at all. So I had to go into the command line text, delete a specific device ID in order to get it to boot off the Nespi case. So the reason again why I say this case was frustrating is because there's so many different storage drives out there. There's so many different combinations. It's almost literally impossible to get everybody on board or understand exactly to get all the devices working. I know there were some other individuals, they wanted to create a database too to get all the devices working. And I was like, that's number one, we're not getting paid. Number two, this is something Nespi or the RetroFlag team wasn't either aware of, or they released a product and then they leave the community. I'm not saying this was done intentionally, but the community is now left trying to figure out their stuff. That's what's going on with this particular case. And again, Arcade Punks made mention of it a few days ago. And I was like, I wasn't going to make a mention of it or say anything. But again, that's one of the situations you're dealing with. So this particular device works. However, I have another SanDisk, which is a 156 gigabyte flash drive. And same company, SanDisk, but it won't boot at all. And so you have a number of different devices. Let's say you could have SanDisk, you could have PNY, you could have Samsung. You could have a number of different devices, all with different file sizes, either 256, 32, 64 gigs, 64 bits, or 128. And each one of those devices may need a specific device ID to boot off the Nespi case. That is where we stand right now. And even I made mention to it to a devs a few days ago. They weren't even aware of that, but that's the thing that causes a problem. And then, of course, members who are downloading images will reach out to the community and say, hey, this is broken, or the image that you made doesn't work. And really, it's a specific device ID code that's not entered in the hard drive, or the storage drive, which is allowing you to boot off of this case. And I think it has something to do with the cable. I have to research my notes and stuff. So that's where we are. That's why I've primarily recommended Samsung throughout the course of the year on my channel, is for issues like that. And I haven't had any personal problems with Samsung booting off of something like this. There's a Samsung in here. But again, that's why it comes down to one of the most coolest devices, but also one of the most frustrating for 2020. Over here, we have the Kronos Zen. I've talked to some of the team members. I love it. And most of the people use this device to do aim assist and shooting Call of Duty and other things like that for Xbox and PlayStation. And I think I've probably only done it maybe once or twice for a video. I will get into more of it. But primarily, I got this for modding, for arcade modding, because it does make it a lot easier to hook up your Wii or your Nintendo Switch to your arcade cabinet. I absolutely love this device. I have a number of these right now. But yeah, so hopefully I'm in the plan to work with some other devs in the community to make some more scripts and see what we could do to use this for retro gaming and other various functions. This device has a lot of potential, and I can guarantee you guys have not seen nearly the amount of content that you should see with this device because of all the full potentials that it is capable of doing. Over here, we have the Sinden Lightgun. Andy's been nice enough to send one of these over. He sent another one over because the first ones apparently didn't get come through customs. But yeah, I ended up getting two. So I'll probably end up giving the second one away after I'm done testing and do some other things. Cool device. I use it on PC. The aim and the accuracy is really good. Still working to trying to get this working on Pi. As far as it does work on Pi, but there's a lot of programming and steps that you need to get done. And so the first order of business that I wanted to take care of here on my channel to assist everybody with the Sinden Lightgun Number one, providing a front end or interface where the software was already installed. Supreme Team already provided that. I went through a list of most, or I would say probably 95% of every possible game that can run on the Pi device or light gun games that could run. So that's how you guys got Pistolero. There were a few other games out there that kind of slipped up, but you guys will get that on Venom Image. So I increased that number to 175. But yeah, with all light gun games, I was actually surprised that there wasn't a specific light gun image that had really existed. And I know right now I have the Dolphin Bar, which is the Wii remote. That's really good. I mean, it's really cost and feasible because if you have a Wii remote laying around from 2007 to 2008, you can use that on your Pi device. And the cool thing about the Dolphin Bar is once you have it plugged in and set it up, you can plug it into your Odroid or another single board computer and start using it right away, or even use that as a controller too. So that thing is pretty cool as well. But yeah, the first order of business was definitely to make sure what games or light gun games are fully capable on the Pi device. And so I went through that list, came up with about 160 something, 170 something games, and gave you guys Pistolero. So that was the first order of business. Now, ever since I released Pistolero, some of you have asked questions regarding aim track. And I did talk to another community member. I'm not sure of his channel offhand. I think it's Lizard something, whatever. He goes by Joel on Facebook. Talk to him. He's been corresponding with aim track, and I've read the emails. I don't have it here in front of me. But after I read the emails and looked at it, because some of you have had questions about setting up aim track with RetroPie 4. I'm not familiar and I don't know who made the software, but apparently it's supposed to work on the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. And the two emulators that the aim track gun uses is Advanced MAME and MAME for All. And unfortunately, on Pi 4, none of those emulators are used to emulate any of the games. Most of the emulators are used on Pi 4 for emulation. Right now are MAME 2016, MAME 2003, 2003 Plus, 2015, 2010, Final Burn Neo, and I believe there's maybe one or two more. So I don't know if Ultimark, the company that produces the aim track gun, if they are aware or if they're advertising that it will work on the Pi 4, but a lot of times companies represent a product and say, hey, it'll work for RetroPie or it'll work on Pi 4. And maybe it will work on the Pi 4, but the most important thing to understand about gaming emulation is the emulator. And if it's, and the Sinden kind of falls in fault with that as well, because originally it was supposed to work with Advanced MAME 1.4, but Advanced MAME 1.4 is not supported on the Pi 4 device. And so, yeah, again, the most important aspect as far as understanding emulation is not whether or not it works for a device, it's whether or not the emulator is supporting that. And that can really make or break a company. So again, I don't know who made the specific software. I believe it was something to do with Python. I don't know if it was a Python-based software or script for aim track. But it does require Advanced MAME and also MAME for All to work on the Pi 4 device, or even in general, but apparently, obviously, it doesn't accept it. And so for those of you who've been frustrated trying to get your aim track gun to work on the Pi device, but yet you see Linux software, it's not going to work, even though the software will recognize it. The emulators really aren't supported. With that being said, so I have a lot of things that I want to cover this year for 2021, looking forward. I have a lot of videos from 2020, and I think even 2019, I never just got around to because I was so bombarded with making sure stuff worked for RetroPie. And so I definitely want to spend more time assisting you guys in the community with additional questions, maybe doing a little bit more live streaming, taking on questions and answers, obviously getting into more other gaming devices and other project hobbies. Obviously, I have my RC cars and stuff that we're definitely going to cover a little bit more of. But I just wanted to take some time out. Thank all of you for subscribing, joining the channel, checking out Patreon. I'm letting you know your funds or things that you guys donate out of your own loving, kind heart, that it is going to good use. And most of that stuff, as far as the money that I've even invested, has simply just gone to testing. Like even the LCD monitor that I bought specifically for my RetroPie, I didn't buy that to put that on an arcade cabinet. I've only bought it just to test out the Pi Marquee script. So a lot of stuff here on this channel is spent for not so much personal enjoyment, but just for testing, because I love testing things out and seeing what the capabilities are. So if you are a company out there and you want me to give an honest review about something, send me an email, inbox me, because I love testing things out and making sure things are adequate and running right, and giving you guys my in-depth opinion and view about how not only something runs, but also improvements that you guys can make in the future. So again, I thank all of you guys for joining, watching. I have a lot of good things coming your way, but I wanted to definitely clear up a lot of things that go on in the retro gaming community, because a lot of times we spend, we as viewers, people in the community, spend a lot of time addressing issues that companies don't really respond to kind of help each other out. And so hopefully that thing changes. I don't think I'll spend that much time this year doing that, even though I kind of like doing a little bit, but it does become more of a hassle when companies release stuff, but yet they don't provide any type of additional support to address a number of issues. So hopefully that changes with other manufacturers coming around, that they are aware of what's going on with their own equipment. All right, like, subscribe. Make sure you guys share this video. I have a lot of good stuff that I will share with you. Make sure you subscribe also. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers at least on kiodiekinhobbies. Same name, but with the boom in the middle. That is my exclusive firework channel. I'm also going to be interviewing and talking to some other firework manufacturers in the community to talk to on there. But yeah, we've been having a lot of fun shooting fireworks and stuff. I gotta love it. So yeah, I definitely love getting involved in all the good stuff. All right, you guys, peace out. We also have some more exciting news about arcade run-up and modding and everything you guys can do with that. Peace, guys. Hopefully looking to add a few more vendors to my list and companies that I am affiliated with. But we'll see. We'll see what the year holds. Take it later.